popularity, the Almendinger Organ Company, or the Ann Arobr Organ Company as it was known, shifted from making reed organs to making upright pianos, and enjoyed a bit of success there, but eventually, I believe, were put out of business because of the popularity of the phonograph. Music making became too easy. And of course, they ceased business just about the time that David Almendinger died, so that may have been a factor in the decision to close the works on the corner of Washington Street and First Street in downtown Ann Arobr. The factory building, the Almendinger factory building, still stands there, and if you go into the lobby, Bill Martin, who owns the building now, has a display there of some samples of the old pianos and organs that were made in that building. A plaque for the 90th anniversary of the establishment of the first German church in Michigan. The original little cabin building was erected on this spot in 1833. And on the 90th anniversary in 1923, they erected this pudding stone marker with the plaque. This is the grave of Daisy B. Davis, who was only 18 years old in 1918 when she died in the terrible influenza pandemic, which laid waste to so much of the youth of the land at that time. At the University of Michigan, all the students were horrified and took precautions of wearing masks everywhere they went. And that was true also in the town. A lot of people wore masks when they left their houses. Daisy B. Davis, probably a high school student in 1918, 18 years old. And she is interesting to us not only because she was one of so many victims of that terrible tragedy, but also because of the way her grieving parents marked her grave with symbols. Not only a photograph, we have a photograph of Daisy, we know what she looked like, that's unusual, but also the little tree stump at the top of the monument, symbolizing a life cut off before maturity. And nestled against the tree stump is a lamb. The lamb is symbolic of not only the innocence of childhood, and thus also often found on the graves of children, but it also symbolizes the baby Jesus, the Lamb of God that taketh away the sins of the world. And in mosaic at the base, we see the lettering, the words, Our Daisy. Rudolph E. Reichert. Rudy Reichert, he was known as. He was a banker, and he became the state banking commissioner during the crisis caused by the Depression beginning in 1929. And he cooperated with the federal government and, of course, the state government to try to implement recovery by declaring a bank holiday after Franklin D. Roosevelt took office in 1933. And that bank holiday in Michigan was copied by other states as a means of stemming the tendency toward a run on the banks, which just caused too many banks to fail. So Rudy Reichert is kind of a hero in helping rescue the Michigan economy at its darkest hour. The name Rudy Reichert, of course, is well known to Ann Arborites even now because his son, Rudolph Reichert Jr., was a physician at the university and at St. Joe's Hospital, and the Reichert wing of St. Joseph's Hospital is named for Rudy Reichert Jr. Here's the Wiesel family plot. Mutter und Vater, Vater Georg, Mutter Elizabeth, and Louise. It looks like Louise was able to put stones for her parents, but when it came time to close her dates, nobody was around to handle that chore. So it looks almost as if she were still alive. In the newer part of the Bethlehem Cemetery, one will find a number of graves of Greek families, Greek immigrant families, founders of the St. Nicholas Greek Orthodox Church of Ann Arobr. I don't know exactly what the formal arrangement is, but they do have a blessing of the graves out here, an annual blessing for members of the Greek congregation. An interesting feature of these graves is that they preserve often the Mediterranean custom of having a photograph on the stone. And you can pick these out just walking through Bethlehem Cemetery.